Let's give all praises to the Most High, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which in the ancient Hebrew is the Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who taught us this truth by the Holy Spirit. Honors to the brothers risking their life and freedom to push the gospel. Peace and blessings to the elect, who would be the so called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, who make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel according to scripture and prophecy. The elect would be 1/3 of the Israelites who in the last days will return back to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai to receive salvation, while the 2/3 of Israel who don't turn back to the Most High in time be destroyed with America. And that's all according to prophecy. We back with another lesson through the mercy of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Lesson is going to be titled Deep Fakes, Fake Stories, False Narratives, False Accusations equals Civil War. Now, in this lesson, we're going to talk about deep fakes, what they are, how they will be used, and what they're going to lead to. And again, deep fakes, as you know, the title is worded, deep fakes will lead, to fake stories, false narratives, false accusations, and civil to bring about civil war, martial law. Ultimately, the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. And deep fakes, we're going to see a lot more of them used here during this time of Jacob's trouble, also referred to as the Great Tribulation, which we in that time now, but it's going to get a lot worse. And we're going to see a lot more deep fakes, which we've been seeing them already. And a lot of people are calling these things out, as they're being used. And deep fakes, they've been getting used since a long time, for a long time. Like one of the most famous ones, that's resurfacing is 9/11. Them planes sitting them Twin Towers, that was a deep fake. And we're going to get into the meaning and the breakdown of the word. But yeah, here in these last days, pretty much you're not going to be able to believe anything you hear or anything you see that's coming from this man, Esau Edom. His news, his propaganda, his news reportings, whatever they pushing, you're not going to be able to believe none of it. No matter what you hear or what you see, even if he show you pictures, video evidence, hey, it all might be a deep fake. Now, let's get the definition of this word deep fake. It says video, image, etc. So it can also be a Facebook post, a YouTube post, an Instagram post, something posted on Twitter. It could be anything. Anything that you will see online or on TV. A video, image, etc., in which a person's face, body, or voice has been digitally altered so that they appear to be someone else, typically used maliciously or to spread false information. So that's what a deep fake is. Pretty much with computers and video editing and artificial intelligence, which is AI, they can create a fake picture, a fake video, and make it seem real. And what it say is typically used maliciously. It's never used in a good way, as we're about to see. It says to spread false information, yet to push a false narrative. And what's the narrative that they want to push? That the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that we the face of crime and criminality here in America, whether it's the so called blacks, which Trump said we do most of the crimes, which is a lie, or the so called Latinos. They say they do a lot of the crimes too, or they over here as immigrants illegally. So deep fake's gonna be used to push a false narrative and to falsely accuse innocent people. And who do they want to accuse? The 12 tribes. To what? To make people hate us, to turn the people against us, to justify themselves and coming against us with a military. Why? Because it ain't just Trump. Hey, but Esau Edom the white man, this whole system, which has been here way before Trump. America has always been at war against the 12 tribes. It's just here in these last days that war is going to be more direct and in your face. So, how have they been going to war? Systemic racism, they policies, discrimination, oppression, poisoning your food, water, air, putting you in ghettos and bad communities with bad schools, no grocery stores, no wholesome foods. That's how they've been going at war. Well, now they just gonna come at you with the military. That's why ICE and the National Guard is being deployed throughout America. Next, you're gonna see the full presence of the military. But another definition for this word deep fake is worded a little different from the Webster Merriam Dictionary. An image or recording. That recording can be video or audio that has been convincingly altered and manipulated to misrepresent someone as doing or saying something that was not actually done or said. So they can alter and manipulate pictures and videos to the point you'll be convinced that you're looking at something that actually happened. Whether it's a picture, whether it's a video, or the audio. And we're going to show some examples, I think, in one of these videos I'm going to pull up in a minute. But yeah, um, and this is the breakdown for the word deep fake. To come straight to the point, the fake in deep fake is transparent. Deep fakes are not real. So when you say deep fake, fake, it means what it's obvious, something that's not real. The deep is less self explanatory. This half of the term is specifically influenced by deep learning. What's deep learning? AI, artificial intelligence. So, deep fake is pretty much describing computers and AI and its ability to create something that's fake, but make it look real. And you're gonna see that with certain news stories and video footage and audio and pictures of maybe people's social media. A lot of that stuff might be fake, and eventually they're gonna use it on the men of the Lord. That's bringing you this truth, and the sincere believers. So I got a couple examples of deep fakes in use. So I got two boxing clips. We're gonna look at the real clip first, and then through the use of deep fakes, we're gonna show you a fake clip. Although it's fake, it's gonna look real. So check this out. This is the real video. So you see the two boxers just size each other up like they always do at a face off. Now watch what you can do with a deep fake. Yeah, so obviously the video was fake, but it still looked real. It still looked real. The thing is, this is just a random YouTube user somewhere, a random video editor. That's his work. And it looked good. I mean, you could tell it was fake, but it still looked real. Now imagine what the government can do with deep fakes and video editing and manipulating and altering what you see, what you hear. Imagine what they can do with the deep fakes. That's the thing. So we got another clip. We're gonna show you the real one, then we're gonna show you the fake one.
From Vegas. Right as we roll onward from Vegas.
So he hit him and stunned him. That's all good. Didn't knock him out. But look at the fake one. So that was the point. So again, this is somebody's, side work, something somebody do for fun. But imagine people out there that work for the government and the CIA, and that's their job, around the clock, working and editing and manipulating and altering videos to push in the news, to push a false narrative, or to falsely accuse people. Imagine what they can do. Again, people that work for the government, that's their job. And yeah, you can tell the video fake, but it looked real enough. So imagine somebody who's actually funded and sponsored and paid by the government with what they can do. And we're talking about this because we about to see a lot of we already seen a lot of fake stuff, like the girl that got stabbed on the train in North Carolina, supposed to have been from Ukraine. Come to find out that same girl, same name, was already killed in Ukraine days before. Then when you see the video of her getting stabbed, it was obviously fake. It was a deep fake. But guess what? A majority of the people believed it. They fell for it. See, that's the thing. Esau, even the white man, he's trying to bring about a civil war here in America. And it's bigger than the Civil War because there's a phrase, order out of chaos. So they're going to create the chaos and then they're going to bring the order. And what's the order? The RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So to help bring about this chaos that will lead to the mark of the beast, they're going to use deep fakes. You're going to see um, all kind of news stories and happenings. You're going to see pictures, videos, audio, interviews, them looking at people's social media. And you can't believe everything you see. You can't fall for it. Even if you see the video, it might be a deep fake. Even if you hear the audio, it might be a deep fake. You're not going to be able to fall for the things that you see and the things that you hear. Because, see, that's going to get a lot of these Americans. And these Americans, they driven by their emotions. We spoke on this the other day. Like, you got all these terms. Um, the far left, the extreme right, MAGA, anti-MAGA, Antifa, BLM, conservatives. liberals, leftists, anti-ICE. You got all these labels and terms that they slapping on people, and these terms or these labels they cause people to um, get emotional, and then they get all roused up and angry and overreact. For example, with this latest shooter that shot some immigrants in the ICE van, if you're a Republican, if you hear anything concerning the Democrats or the far left or a liberal or an Antifa, as soon as you hear them words, a Republican is going to get emotional and all logic is going to go out the window. Them like, see them damn Democrats, them damn liberals, Antifa's at it again, you know, and that's the same for the other side, who you may call a leftist, a liberal, a democratic. As soon as they hear anything about MAGA or Trump or ICE, all logic is gonna go out the window. They're gonna fall for whatever they hear and whatever they see, and they're gonna use these terms. Um, Trump supporters, MAGA, the far left, Antifa, immigration. They're gonna use these terms with these fake stories, with these deep fakes, to get emotional response out of you people. And then the scripture spoke about the love of many waxing cold. To what? To to increase the division and the tension amongst the American people. Because we know Isaiah 19:2 spoke about Egyptian versus Egyptian. And then Matthew, the 12th chapter, when you read it in the NLT, it speak about civil war, which I'm going to get that real quick. And it don't matter what version. Chapter 12, verse 25 and 26 is about civil war, but we're going to get the NLT. Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom, in this case America, divided against itself is brought. That's not what I'm trying to do. Hold on. Let's get 25 again. Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom, America, divided by civil war is doomed. So they're going to use these deep fakes to get the Republicans mad, to get the Democrats mad, to get the white supremacists mad, to get Antifa mad, the liberals, conservatives, whatever you identify as these days, as concerning politics. And then they're going to use these words, immigration, ICE, anti ICE, border patrol. They're going to use that with these fake stories and fake news to play on you people's emotions. And then what? People going to want to protest, eventually riots, people are going to clash. And that's how you will get a civil war here in America. Cause a bunch of confusion, a bunch of panic, people taking something to heart that's not even real. Like all them people got upset of that Ukrainian girl that got stabbed on a train. The video wasn't even real. You could clearly see it. But because it was a so-called black guy that did the stabbing, all logic went out the window when people viewed the video. And then what was the talk? Them blacks, them democrats, them liberals, the minority, violence amongst the black community. They're going to use these words and these terms with these fake news and these fake stories to cause confusion, push a false narrative, and eventually a civil war. So we got another video that's going to further explain the deep fakes.
Deepfakes are AI-generated, highly realistic videos, images, or audio that manipulate a person's likeness, making them appear to say or do something they didn't.
God damn, bro. Fuck.
Deepfakes are AI-generated, highly realistic videos, images, or audio that manipulate a person's likeness, making them appear to say or do something they didn't, raising concerns about misinformation and trust.
See, that's what it's about, pushing misinformation. See, the scriptures speak about those who trust in Egypt, and what's Egypt? America. How do we know Egypt is America as concerning Bible prophecy? Because the pyramid is on the back of the dollar. And then when you read Revelation, the 11th chapter, it speaks about a spiritual Egypt. And if it's spiritual, it means it's not literal. It's not the actual physical place of Egypt, but a place like it. And that would be America. And these deep fakes, it's gonna push misinformation to cause confusion. You don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake. You got CNN saying one thing, you got Fox News saying another thing. I think it's the Republicans, they more so geared to CNN. I think the Democrats, they more so geared to Fox News. They clashing, they bashing one another. So it says raising concerns about misinformation and trust. And see, they're going to push these fake stories and they're going to use terms like the left or minority groups or Trump supporters, ICE, to cause distrust here in America. You know, racial tensions, the more division. So you might see a story, and a Republican might see a story and he think it's real. Now he's extra mad at black people or so-called Mexican people. Now he goes and do a crime, and that's how a lot of these Edomites operate. These mass shooters, you know, these acts of domestic terrorism that these white men do against the American people, they're not random acts of violence. No, something rubbed them the wrong way. Something stirred up their emotions. Then they responded with a mass shooting. So yeah, so-called white man who's a Republican, he could see something in the news and believe it. Now he's out doing a mass shooting somewhere. And the flip side is true. You know, a Democratic, a liberal, they could hear something about the other side. Now I got them looking at people sideways. And that's what America's turned into. Nobody trusts nobody. Everybody eyeing one another. Everybody looking at each other sideways. That's how the scriptures speak about the love of many waxing cold. I guess I'm gonna have to get that real quick. So we're gonna jump to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, iniquity is abounding right now. What's iniquity? Lawlessness, crime, violence. And what's abound? Meaning to increase or exceed in number. And we see that with the increasing number of mass shootings, public shootings, just shootings in general, or any other kind of acts of violence. It says the love of many shall wax cold. So yeah, this stuff is increasing because the scriptures say the evils would increase. Hey, but a lot of the stuff we see out there may be fake, or they may take a real story but add a bunch of BS to it. Add, fake evidence, fake pictures, fake videos to steer the narrative in a different direction to cause further confusion, to bring about a civil war. Now let's get back to this video.
Here's a more detailed explanation. In the age of artificial intelligence, deepfake technology has become one of the most intriguing yet alarming advancements. Deepfakes use AI to manipulate images, videos, and audio, creating hyper-realistic yet entirely fabricated content.
Yeah, see that? It use AI to manipulate images, videos, audio to create something fake that looks real. And it's just not YouTube YouTubers and streamers editing, you know, these videos using deep fakes. So when regular people use deep fakes, that's when you get videos of dragons flying. Somebody may say it's Leviathan in the ocean, and they show you a sea monster in the ocean, or they may show you a human, he take off flying. That's a deep fake. When people use it for fun. But see, Esau, even a white man, he's going to use it in a more sinister way to push about, fake stories, false narratives, false accusations, getting people wrongfully through in jail, you know, demonizing people wrongfully because they move in America toward a civil war.
Initially developed for creative purposes in film, gaming, and virtual reality, deepfakes have rapidly evolved into a tool with the potential for both entertainment and deception. With the increasing accessibility of deepfake software, anyone with basic technical knowledge can create convincing digital forgeries. This
They say anybody can do it. We just saw two examples with the two boxing clips I showed.
is ethical and security concerns, as deepfakes can be used for misinformation, fraud, and identity theft.
It can also be used to push fake news stories, false narratives, cause confusion, but yeah, misinformation. So that's what you get from Esau's news is a lot of misinformation. That's why Isaiah 30 spoke about those who trust in Egypt in the prophetic sense that Egypt will be America. And when you trust in the shadow of Egypt, it'll be to your you'll be confused. That's why anybody who watches the news and takes those things to heart, they're confused. They literally say one thing one day, then the opposite thing the next day. Nobody is nobody's on one accord. Everything is disorganized. People just saying whatever, to stir up people's emotions.
But how exactly do they work, and what are their different types? Key technologies behind deepfakes. 1. Generative Adversarial Networks, GANs. GANs consist of two AI models, the generator and the discriminator. Over time, the generator improves, making deepfakes more convincing. 2. Autoencoders. These AI models encode and reconstruct images, allowing them to replace one face with another while maintaining realistic details. 3. Voice cloning. AI-powered voice synthesis can replicate someone's voice by analyzing their speech patterns and tone. Types of deepfakes. 1. Video deepfakes. These involve superimposing a person's face onto another's body in a video, making it appear as though the person is saying or doing something they never did. This technique is often used to create fake celebrity videos or impersonate public figures in political propaganda. 2. Audio deepfakes, voice cloning. AI can replicate a person's voice by analyzing their speech patterns, tone, and intonations. Cybercriminals have used voice deepfakes to impersonate CEOs in financial scams or to spread fake news through manipulated audio clips.
Fake news. You saw even a so-called white man. Like what you see, it may be fake news. It may be fabricated altogether, or they may take real story but add a lot of misinformation to it. Totally twisting the story and the narrative. At that point, it's fake news. So what? To stir up one of you groups of people, whether it's the left, right, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, Trump supporters, those who support the ICE agents, to get somebody mad.
3. Deepfake images. AI-generated images can create entirely fictional people or modify real photos. For example, tools like "This person does not exist" use deepfake technology to generate realistic images of non-existent individuals. 4.
See that?
Lip sync deepfakes. This type of deepfake alters the lip movements of a person in a video to match a new audio track.
And we gonna see this. This gonna come into play, and I think more so against the believers in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. They can see scripture speak about us standing on trial before kings and governors for the sake of the gospel. So we may be being interviewed and interrogated, and with deep fake, they can alter our lip movements to make it seem like we saying certain things. So the men that's bringing you this truth, don't be surprised eventually if you see a video saying some bullshit. Probably a deep fake. But see, the majority of America, they're gonna fall for it. Because why they against this truth anyway? And if they're against the truth, it's not they don't make it about the truth, they make it about us. So they looking for a reason to come against us that got this truth. And that's how Esau, even the white man, through his deep fakes, he's going to try to turn the American public against us. Now, let me see if I can find that here. And this is Matthew 24:9. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you should be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So, yeah, you're going to be hated of all nations for this truth. And Esau, in the use of his deep fakes, is going to help bring about that prophecy, us being hated of all nations. They're going to have us saying all kind of BS that we didn't say. Or they might have a video say we got caught doing something on camera that's totally made up. But see, you can't fall for it. Most American people gonna fall for it. And see, that word black Hebrew Israelite, that's in the same category of either saying a Trump supporter, MAGA, extreme left, white supremacy. Is like saying one of those terms. Because people hear those terms and depend on your political views, you get offended and get upset. Like Democrats, they get upset with anything that got to do with the Republicans. Conservatives, which are typically Republicans, they get upset with anything that got to do with the left and the liberals. But that's the same when people hear the word black Hebrew Israelite. People who have come across this information or dealt with us, they hear that word and all logic is out the window. They get emotional, overly upset, ready to crash out. But yeah, black Hebrew Israelite, that's in the same realm of like saying a Trump supporter, a MAGA, a liberal. It's just these different categories of people that Esau uses to stir up confusion and to get people mad. And so Esau gonna use his deep fakes, and he's gonna use that phrase Black Hebrew Israelite to try to get the ministry to be blamed, and that's how a lot of us go be made out to be public enemy and criminals. Scripture spoke about us being thrown in prison. It's gonna be through the use of deep fakes. That's gonna help in that.
It is often used in entertainment or political manipulation, making it appear as if someone has said something they never actually did.
Political manipulation. So yeah, Esau's gonna manipulate the people through politics, and you see that going on now. It's just gonna continue to intensify.
5. AI generated avatars and virtual influencers. Deepfake technology is also used to create digital avatars or virtual influencers that look and behave like real people. Some brands have even used AI-generated models for marketing campaigns. How dangerous are deepfakes? 1. Misinformation and fake news.
This is a lot of what you see now: misinformation and fake news. Which a lot of American people they've been caught on that you can't trust nothing these devils say. That's why you got alternative news media. People more so get their news through YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. That's a more reliable news source.
Deepfakes can spread false narratives, manipulate public opinion, and influence elections.
There we go. Get spread false narratives. They're gonna start pushing. See, they pushing all these false narratives on the 12 tribes right now: Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, beginning with the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latin American tribes. And what was that false narrative? That they over here, the Guatemalans, the Venezuelans, and the Mexicans, they taking over communities. They creating gangs. They selling drugs out of abandoned houses. There's gang violence. They at war with the gangs in Chicago. They snatching up women. That was a false narrative. To what? To influence the public's opinion against those people. To turn the public against the people who came up from South Central America. So what? To make them the enemy and the problem so Esau the white man can play the hero. And how did he play the hero? Well, let's deport him. Same going on with the so-called blacks right now. They say we do most of the crime. We the face of crime and gun violence in America right now. For what? The same reason. To justify themselves and coming against us with the military, ICE, National Guard, military, etc. So that's a false narrative. See, because right now, Esau just giving you false narratives. We about to see a lot of deep fakes, which again, that Ukrainian girl that got stabbed in North Carolina, that was a deep fake. That was totally fake. So along with these false narratives, because they say we do most of the crimes, we the face of gun violence, but they'll never show you any evidence. Esau gonna start showing you hard evidence, which is gonna be fake. You're gonna see videos, hear audio, see pictures, see screenshots, but it's gonna be fake. To strengthen the false narratives that they're gonna push to manipulate and influence the opinion of the public against the 12 tribes, against you, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. And beyond that, they're going to do all of this and more to the servants, the prophets, the men that's bringing this truth today. We don't know what they're going to accuse us of, but David spoke on it. We're going to get accused of all kind of stuff. And they're going to have pictures and video and audio, but it's all going to be fake. Because, see, right now, the public opinion against what they call the black Hebrew Israelites, it may be 50-50. Some people just straight up don't like us, they hate us. Some might not like us and respect us, some might love us. But see, Esau losing the information war because all his shit is bullshit. His wisdom is vanishing, he getting sloppy. The only thing real out there is this truth, who will come from what they call the black Hebrew Israelites. So more people gonna want to start inquiring of us of what's going on. But see, Esau gonna start using them deep fakes to manipulate the opinion of the public against us, to turn the people against us, so that we be hated of all nations for his name's sake. But let's continue.
2. Fraud and identity theft. Cyber criminals can create deepfake videos or audio to impersonate individuals for financial fraud. 3. Reputation damage.
See that reputation damage. And that's what Esau the white man has been doing against the 12 tribes really this whole time. But Trump took it to the next level since he got back in the office. Reputation damage. And ultimately, the reputation they want to damage would be us who got this truth. Those of us who pushing his word. Why? Because eventually people ain't gonna be able to do anything but acknowledge that we had the truth. And I'm new to this, but the elders, the GMS on down, they gonna be able to do nothing but acknowledge we was right and that this is the truth. But see, Esau can't attack the truth. The truth is perfect. The doctrine is perfect. But what he can attack is the men who got the truth. Because the scriptures say you can't do nothing against the truth before the truth. You can't do nothing against the truth because it's perfect. But instead of attacking the truth, he's going to try to come up against us. And if he can make us look bad, demonize us, make us look like criminals, he can argue, yeah, these guys are criminals. Yeah, the gospel, the doctrine that they teach, it's all bad because it's coming from the mouths of criminals. Again, he can't attack the doctrine. He can only attack the men who got the true doctrine. So that's his strategy. And people who not rooted and grounded, that they're gonna be carnal and not spiritual. They're gonna fall for it and believe these false narratives, believe these fake stories, believe the things that they see and that they hear, and that's gonna what steer them away from the truth because they're not looking at the truth for what it is. They looking at the truth um, and their view of the truth is influenced by the opinion they have of the men that push the truth.
Malicious deepfakes can be used to create fake scandalous videos of celebrities or public figures. 4. Blackmail and harassment. Fake explicit videos and doctored media have been used to harass individuals. 5. National security threats. Deepfakes can be weaponized.
So yeah, that's pretty much the video. I guess I had some scriptures. How long will we be? I might make a part two. Let me see what we got. We're gonna get these scriptures real quick. This is the book of Revelation. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna do 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. So yeah, we've been going into this a little bit lately. The accuser of our brethren. And who has always falsely accused the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans? Esau, even the so-called white man. It said, which accused us day and night. Now let's get this word accused. Where am I? A person suspected with committing a crime or offense. Yeah, we always suspected of something. So we the ones that's constantly being accused, and by who? Esau, even the so-called white man. But why is the scriptures making mention of this? Well, we go to this word accused and then scroll down. An accusation can be made in private or in public. And they publicly accuse our people all the time on TV, they news, the movies, they entertainment, etc. It says when we come down, an accuser can make an accusation with or without evidence. But see, that's what we were talking about. Esau, all he's been doing really is pushing a false narrative against our people. No evidence. Even when they give you these stats and numbers, no evidence. They just be talking out the side of their neck. But see, Esau gonna come with hard evidence, but it's all gonna be fake. It's all gonna be AI generated, AI created, video editing, deep fakes. An accuser can make accusation with or without evidence. Esau about to start coming with evidence, against the 12 tribes in general, hey, but especially against us who got this truth, to try to make the truth look bad by making us look bad who's pushing the truth. The accusation can be entirely speculative. It can be a false accusation. So that's what he been pushing the false accusations. But what's going to strengthen them false accusations is going to be them deep fakes. It says made out of malice for the purpose of harming the reputation of the accused. So they want to harm the reputation of the 12 tribes. That's why everybody looking at Issachar sideways right now. They looking at the Northern Kingdom sideways. Like, are you supposed to be here? Are you legal? Are you an immigrant? Well, they will start doing that against the so-called blacks next, but all that and more will be used against us who got this truth. See what Esau doing, while he's tarrying and BSing and not coming at us who got this truth right now, Esau practicing, seeing how he can manipulate the public. You know, he's practicing right now. But he gonna do all this and more when he come against us who got this truth. But that's why it says the accuser of our brethren, the people who falsely and constantly lied against our people to make us look bad, says he's cast down, which accused them day and night, you know, before the Most High. So yeah, they accuse us before the Most High and they accuse us before the people. Then when you get this in Psalms 35 and 11, false witnesses did rise up. Who are those false witnesses? The accuser of our brethren. Esau Edom the white man and the stuff that he about to come out with. The fake stories, false narratives, deep fakes, videos, pictures, audio. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. And they gonna be charging us with all kind of stuff we know nothing about. Yeah, they gonna be doing it, to our people in general, the 12 tribes, but they really gonna crack down on us who got this truth. They gonna be saying we guilty of grape and who knows what else. Murder, hate, whatever. And then when you get this in the NLT, Psalms 35 and 11, it say malicious witness testify against me. That's how the scriptures speak about us standing on trial. Yeah, we may stand on trial for the truth and our belief, but we're also going to be on trial because false witnesses or malicious witnesses going to testify against us. Kind of like even what you see with R. Kelly, what's the dude name, Bill Cosby. Yeah, they probably did do some of that stuff, but I don't think all that stuff is true. So you had one come out against Bill Cosby, then all these women started coming out. Hey, that's how it's gonna be with us who got this truth. Out of nowhere, a false witness. Then after that, deep fakes. Your name all over the news, posters up, fake stories, fake videos, fake audio, fake pictures. Malicious witnesses testify against me. They accuse me of crimes I know nothing about. That's what David, that's the NLT. KJV, they laid to my charge things that I knew not. But yeah, they're gonna accuse of crimes you know nothing about. Hey, they may have us killing somebody, setting the building on fire at a shootout. There's no telling. But that's all gonna be to demonize this truth, because they can't attack the truth, but they can attack the men who got this truth, and that would be to steer people away from the truth. Then when you read verse 12, it reads, "They rewarded me evil for good, to the spoiling of my soul." So pretty much they're gonna lie on us for nothing, only because we got this truth. That's the good. And because of this truth, because of the good, we're gonna be rewarded for evil. We're gonna be rewarded with evil. Now we also gonna get this next one. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, 10 through 12. "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." So if you truly of the righteous, you should be persecuted. If you celebrate it, you're not righteous, because the true righteous are not going to be accepted or welcome or blessed, but they're going to be persecuted before the people. "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." See that? Didn't David just say in the NLT, "They accuse me of crimes I know nothing about. Malicious witnesses testify against me." What the Lord say himself, "Shall say all manner of evil against you." So you're going to be accused of every crime in the book. The Lord didn't say they shall say some manner of evil against you. He said they're going to say all manner of evil against you. Rape, murder, pedophilia, treason, um, setting stuff on fire, jaywalking, stealing. Whatever crime out there that can be broken, they're going to make us guilty of it some way, somehow. But it's all going to be false. No matter what hard evidence, what pictures, what video they can come up with. So if you start seeing our pictures and our faces on the news saying some crazy stuff, you know what's up. Rejoice. But yeah, they gonna say all manner of evil against us falsely, and not nothing against us personally, but because of this truth that we carry. And then when we get this in the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 15, "The simple believe of every word." So you can believe every word you see. And this don't even go for something that you hear, or words that you read. This could be videos and pictures that you see. "The simple believe of every word he hear, or the simple believe everything he see." Hey, most of what we see now, from here on out, hey, most of what we see is fake when it's coming from the hand of this devil. It says, "But the prudent man looketh well unto his going." Hey, but a prudent man is going to look into things. Scripture say, "He that is spiritual judgeth all things." So you're going to judge all things according to the spirit. And that's what you're going to have to do. And the whole reason he's not going to use these deep fakes against us is to try to steer people away from the truth. So if you're rooted and grounded, you're not going to be moved or affected by what you see. When you start seeing us on the news, guilty of this, doing that, you're not going to worry about, what they say we doing. You got the truth. But see, the simple of our people, that's going to get them out of the truth. So the Lord is constantly sifting. This is all going to be a sifter for the 2/3 of Israel, for the Lord to get them up out of here. So, yeah, the use of deep fakes, fake stories, false narratives, civil war, martial law, the mark of the beast, all this stuff is tied together. So, you're going to see us on the news pretty soon. Yeah, who knows what they going to say. But Lord willing, that's informative, edifying. Till next time, Shalom.